the chaotic model of Jerusalem became the public image of hippiedom. But other communities took changing the world much more seriously.
I was a teenager in Tauranga, fresh school leaver, and a person that didn't know what was going to happen next, so I hitchhiked to the South Island. I liked the idea of the wide open Southern Alps and the open rivers, and it looked like a romantic place to go, so I hitchhiked down there and ended up at a place called Tahuna Farm. Tahuna Farm was just a little 10-acre place. We paid $4 a week to Dominion Breweries to lease this land. We were all scavengers. We lived off other people's waste. Everything was homemade and home-scrounged.
But Tahuna was an urban commune, a stepping stone to the hardcore hippie dream of getting back to the land.
Well, my father was aghast. You know, he was an accountant. And I proudly showed him the suitcase under the table in the kitchen, which was our bank. We called it the bank. And any money that came in went in the suitcase, and there was an old exercise book that had columns in, out, description, and everyone kind of helped themselves. And my father just couldn't believe it, really. And kept saying, but there's no security. What will you do when you want to leave? And I said, there was no future then. When you're 17, 18, tomorrow never comes.
60 acres of prime Motueka farmland became the Graham Downs community. Their anarchist mission statement meant there were no leaders and anyone was welcome.
I mean, we had that first 2 years, very little food, heaps of people living under canvas. I was living in the caravan which I've got, which is just made of carcase ply.
We had a lot of real purists and idealists amongst us, and there was like a deep suspicion of everything that went with the technology of the time. It was seen as partly responsible for the degeneration of the land and of society in general.
The idea was that we wouldn't put a tractor on the ground. A horse treads quite lightly on the ground, and for a while we had ploughs, we had tine harrows, we had rollers, we had seed drills, and I think we had 15 acres 1 year under crops, all of it done with horses. And the horses were, for me, a main part of it. Getting a horse out of the paddock and brushing it down and getting it clean and putting the gear on, and finally putting the reins on and holding the reins. It's not like turning the key in a K. You actually talk to it, you say, you know, go, and it goes, get up. And a number of mainly young men came onto the farm, and the horses essentially rehabilitated them.
When it came together, it was just the most wonderful thing. So harvests were a great time where everyone would pull together and do something, and because we were working with draft horses and using all this old world farming techniques, we had these wonderful scenes. It was incredibly hard physical work, but there was something intensely satisfying about it. Everything came from the land. I don't know what my parents' fantasies were about the place, really, but my mum sent the minister up here to check on me, and she died a few years ago, and I was going through her letters, and I found this absolutely beautiful letter that the minister had written her, talking about how beautiful it was driving up here, and how he'd found me in this little hut that was perfectly clean, and he said, I'm confident that your daughter will come to God. She's a God-fearing young woman. It was really lovely. I just feel so thankful to him for doing it. My dad was very, very upset about me being here.
building was the only building on the property, and this was where we all lived when we first came, and it had a wood stove in it, and it was comfortable and warmish.
We were house proud.
It was clean, and it was tidy, and we had vases of flowers on the table, and we baked bread every day, and it was a functioning place. But you wouldn't think it now. Through that room was where I brought my baby home from the hospital. Our youngest son was born in the middle of winter, at the beginning of July, and we were living in the barn without electricity then, and it was really hard. I had 3 children by that stage, had to do all the washing in cold water by hand. When I look back on it, my knuckles would be bleeding sometimes from, washing nappies.
We used to take it in just as the sun was going down and help us to...
Well, the frost, because it got frost on it, it would never
put a
dry.
lid on it and keep it there till the next day and put it out the next day.
It's called getting back to basics.